Salve a tutti e ben ritrovati a questa nuova edizione di Chiasso News. Morti e feriti continuano ad arrivare all'ospedale di Al-Aqsa. A seguito degli intensi bombardamenti delle forze israeliane di questa mattina, nell'area di Mezzo a Gaza, i team di Medici Senza Frontiere stanno lavorando insieme al personale medico degli ospedali Al-Aqsa e Nasser per curare un numero enorme di pazienti gravemente feriti, molti dei quali sono donne e bambini. Ascoltiamo l'audio inviato da Karen Huster, responsabile medica di Medici Senza Frontiere a Gaza.
Today is Saturday and I just come back from Al-Aqsa hospital. Things started happening around 11:30 when there was a huge blast right next to our office. So we were listening to what was happening. We had just returned from Al-Aqsa hospital where things were very quiet. And we started to hear really intense IDF activity, lots of bombardments, lots of shooting, helicopters, and then, as I said, around 11:30, this huge blast right next to our office, which is not very far from Al-Aqsa hospital. By then, we started following the situation really closely, and as soon as we were able to, we three clinicians decided to prepare a bunch of supplies, medicines, and go and support the colleagues at Al-Aqsa hospital. We had also heard by then the plea of the Al-Aqsa hospital director to come and help. It just took some time to clear everything from a security standpoint. And we were finally, in the early afternoon, entering Al-Aqsa Hospital Emergency Department. I have no idea how many dead there were. We had no time to take a look at the morgue or look at the front. It was, as usual, mayhem, but it was compounded mayhem from the last 4 days. Total chaos inside. The entire emergency room, the red zone, the yellow zone, the green zone was completely packed with patients on the floor coming from the bombings in Nuseirat. There were hundreds of patients, and we did whatever we could to stabilize them, give them some IV fluids, put a splint, bandage, try to refer for surgery for those who would benefit from that. And thank God we were able to refer a bunch of patients to Nasser Hospital as well as IMC Field Hospital that is not far away from here. Despite the fact that the police was completely overwhelmed, it did an amazing job. The nurses of the hospital, the Doctors Without Borders, nurses and physicians that lent a hand did an amazing job and continue to do an amazing job as we speak. It is not difficult to imagine the horror that we saw. There were children everywhere. There were women, there were men. We had the gamut of war wounds, right? Trauma wounds, from amputations to eviscerations to trauma, to TBIs, traumatic brain injuries, fractures, obviously, big burns. And so it was just survival for all of us, rolling our sleeves and putting, fluids in people, giving them pain medicine, and shipping them to a place where they could get care. Unfortunately, the system is so overwhelmed that a lot of patients are staying much longer than they should in this emergency department. Kids completely gray or white from the shock, burnt, screaming for their parents, many of them not screaming because they are in shock. Expectant patients mixed in the yellow area. it's just one of these moments where you don't think about the chaos that is happening. There is no system, there is no triage. You roll your sleeve, you put a ton of stuff in your pockets, and you do the best you can. But there is nothing at all that justifies what I saw today. Nothing. These children, the 3-month-old, the 7-year-old, the 12-year-old that died, the 25-year-old man, the 78-year-old woman, who all have horrendous injuries. Why did they deserve this? And why is the world looking on in silence, continuing to look on? Like, to what level of horror do we need to go before we finally do something, before we finally tell Israel that this is not acceptable?
Per questa edizione è tutto. Grazie per la vostra attenzione e a ben rivederci alla prossima edizione di Chiasso News.